This year, OLT.com has improved navigation and an improved interface, but it still falls behind other leading tax software for the 2019 year. In this video, we're doing a complete review and walkthrough of OLT.com tax software. Hey guys, welcome back to the College Investor, Investing and Personal Finance for Millennials. If you have been searching for tax software to file your 2019 taxes, you may have heard of OLT.com. That stands for Online Taxes. It is a bargain tax software and it does have a free version. Let's go ahead and jump into the pricing packages and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so OLT.com has two versions. There's the free edition in which you can file a 1040. You can do very simple or even complex returns, it says you can do in the free edition. The premium edition for $7.95 includes audit support, year-over-year comparison, and a discounted state pricing. So the state tax return in the premium version is $7.95, whereas if you try to do the free version, it really isn't free. You still have to pay $9.95 for your state tax return. Once you know which pricing plan is right for you, let's go ahead and hop into the tax software and I'll show you how it works. Okay, let's get ready to file our federal return using OLT.com. And remember, the state return is $9.95. So we're going to go with the free edition here and see what we come up with. You'll want to create an account and go ahead and add in your email address. Then it's going to have a user agreement for you to read and agree, and then save and continue. Okay, next you're going to fill out additional login security questions. There seems to be a lot of different security things such as multi-factor authentication and then the Google authentication and then an optional security pin. So that's really nice to see that you've got 3 different ways to keep things secure with OLT.com. Okay, then upon logging in with your email address, you get this welcome screen. It's pretty simple. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot to this navigation so far. We'll hop into the return and see what it looks like. Right off the bat, I noticed that there isn't a menu or a navigation system like I've seen on other tax software dashboards where there's a navigation handle where you can click through and jump to different sections. Right now, it's just asking me for general information. I'll be using dummy information, so just go ahead and follow along with me. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with the number of years associated up at the top and why it would have me start my 2015 return. So that's a little interesting to see. I haven't seen that in other tax software, but right off the bat, it does say start your 2019 tax return. So I'll go ahead and click on that. We'll start with the free edition and see what we can do in the free edition. The premium edition has that $7.95 plus an additional $7.95 for the state tax return. But it looks like if you have a regular 1040, a regular W-2, even a complex return also shows up in the free edition. So we'll see what we are able to do in the free edition. All right, here's the dashboard. So it looks like we have the navigation system here and a whole bunch of buttons. And then this screenshot, use the menu on the left of the page to check your progress or jump to areas you've already been to. I'm not sure why they did a screenshot here, so they could have easily added some sort of pop-up button or pop-up window to show you how to get along with the navigation. So that's a little interesting. But it looks like you can take a tour, and there's that pop-up box I was mentioning, so they could have just used that and done away with this image. I think that would have cleaned up the navigation a little bit better. Okay, so it looked like they pre-filled some of my answers to these questions except for the healthcare information, so it looks like I have to go ahead and click back on this, save and continue. And in this example, I will be filing single. This is interesting. I haven't seen this in other tax software either, in which they're asking for your driver's license. It says that the return won't be rejected, but it's being used to combat stolen identity tax fraud. So I don't know why adding more of my personal information would help them combat identity tax fraud. So this is really interesting. I'm going to say no, I don't want to provide that information. Then they're going to give you a review of your personal information and continue. Okay, as I've updated my personal information, I noticed that the menu just got a heck of a lot longer. So this looks like I am going into the actual return now, and I'll click on W-2. It looks like you can click on other boxes to indicate whether or not you've received income from investments. So if you had a bank that paid you interest, you would click on that. And then you can save and continue. I'm not sure why it's pre-filling done with W-2 category because I haven't even added that yet. So I'll click add a new W-2. And then here, it doesn't look like I have an option to import a W-2 PDF. So you'll have to enter it in manually. So, and in my W-2 example, my Social Security wages are different than my regular wages and comp, but I see that it's already pre-filled some of this information for me already, which is not really helpful because it's inaccurate according to what I have stated on my W-2. So just be aware that they're pre-filling for some reason and it's not accurate. Well, now it's showing up accurate, so this is a little weird. Interesting. So in my W-2, it says that my federal wages were $53,725, but total state wages were $53,724, which is what I had on my W-2. So it's interesting that they flagged that. I'll go ahead and click save and continue just to keep going and see what they come up with. I don't like how they pre-fill the answers for you because you could just be clicking continue without really reading the question first. So it would be nice if these weren't pre-filled and you were forced to answer yes or no on some of these questions. Okay, I'm still in the income and earnings section. It looks like there are different forms that I can fill out, and then click on start. And then you'll want to add new forms as you have them. Okay, if none of these other income investment forms apply to you, you can click done with investment income. And then you'll be greeted with an income summary screen. If there's anything that you need to show more, it looks like you can go through some of these different forms. Let's click on where do I enter. Let's say we had student loan. Why do they keep doing that? Student loan interest deduction form. So I had a 1098E. I'll go ahead and say I want to add that. So it's updating my refund amount up here. I don't know if I'm particularly fond of how the dashboard looks. It looks pretty outdated in my opinion. This could be an easy fix if they worked with a web developer to update this. Otherwise, I'm going to click done with income summary and then move on to adjustments. So I had already indicated that I had student loan interest. I wonder if it'll already have, yes, it already has the pre-filled information. I'll say done with adjustments. This is a little confusing compared to other tax software that I've been in. So it says which of these deductions apply to you in tax year 2019. I didn't have any of these in my example. It almost seems like there's too many options to click here when in other cases they'll show you what the standard deduction is and then what the itemized deduction is. And this seems a little confusing. Also, it just says skip this step. So now I'm really confused on what to do. It almost seems optional. Deduction checklist, taxes I paid. I didn't have any of these credits, so I'll skip this step, I guess. And then it's going to show me the complete list of credits. I'll click done with credits summary. If you were new to filing your taxes, it almost feels like you have to go through each of these one by one. You don't have to. You can click done with taxes summary and skip it, but I think this would allow for a lot of error. So if you're filing your taxes for the first time, it doesn't seem like OLT.com would be the most beneficial because it can be very confusing to figure out where exactly you need to go next. Okay, then these are the miscellaneous forms. If any of these have applied to you, you would click on start and fill it out. So go through them one by one. If you don't have any of these forms, then you would click save and continue return. All right, so now we're at the summary screen. For the federal tax summary, this is all the information that I input here, and then what their potential refund amount would be. Then I'll ask you how you want to receive your refund. And then I think you can go ahead and go into the state return. Then you can e-file your return. And this is interesting. For the self-select PIN, it's asking me to type in my prior year adjusted gross income and the prior year 5-digit self-selected PIN. If you don't have that information, it says your e-file submission will be rejected by the IRS if they're incorrect. So I don't even think this is a way that you can skip this, other than if you didn't file in 2019, then you would put a 0 in. Yep, so they're not going to let you move forward unless you have these two things, which is kind of a bummer. I didn't have this issue with other tax software, so this definitely can hose things up for you if you don't have this information, and it's all the way at the end. So after you've put in all of your tax information, and if you get to this point and you don't have this information, it seems like you're just out of luck when it comes to filing with OLT.com. All right, let's revisit the state tax return. I wasn't aware that I had even started it, so I'm going to click Save and Continue. Then here are all the other state forms. If none of these apply to you, it looks like you can just click done with the adjustment section. And then the taxes section, special credits, and then other credits. Oh my gosh, there seems to be a lot to look at here in terms of how many forms there are on the state side, which is a little different than what I've seen in other software. All right, so then it's showing me a summary of my state taxes. I'd get a potential refund of $412. And then you can e-file the return. And then you get to this quick summary page here that says the IRS will begin to accept returns on January 28th of 2020. So when you get to this point, you can log back in and click to file your return. It's super cheap. This is one of the cheapest ones out here. However, with the clunkiness of this software, and I didn't really feel like it was user-friendly, you might look elsewhere. Overall, OLT.com was pretty cumbersome to use. While the search functionality was really nice, there was just too much text and tax jargon for me to understand. If you're looking for a bargain on your tax software, then you might consider looking at TaxSlayer or TaxHawk. We have reviews on those, and they just seemed a lot easier to go through versus something like OLT.com. If you want to go premium, then take a look at H&R Block or TurboTax. You're going to get a fancier interface than OLT.com. They just seem to fall behind on our list of tax reviews. And remember, if you are looking for free options, H&R Block and TurboTax still offer free options for you, so you'll want to check those out as well. For more information on tax reviews for the 2019-2020 year, be sure to check out thecollegeinvestor.com.